Greetings, everyone, and thank you so much for joining us today. Today on our call, we have my colleague, Sita Iyer, with us, who is going to be telling us a little bit more about the Citizenship by Investment program. Myself, I am the client advisor of the MENA region. We have Richard Halam with us, who is the CBI director of the ROC Caribbean, and our special guest, Carleen Purcell, who is the CEO of the Grenada Citizenship by Investment unit in Grenada. Our agenda for this evening is going to be talking about who we are as citizens, as ROC Citizenship. We are going to tell you a little bit more about Grenada and the beautiful island itself. We will tell you about how you can obtain the Grenadian citizenship, of course, the different requirements we have, the different investment options that are required, the timeline to get the citizenship, and of course, we will have a Q&A session at the end. I would like to hand over to my colleague Sita, who will now start our webinar. Thank you.
Thank you, Sarah, for the lovely introduction. Hi, greetings, everyone. My name is Sita Iyer, and I'm the regional manager for ROC Citizenship. I'm the regional manager for ROC Citizenship. ROC Citizenship is a bespoke entity specializing in government-approved residency and citizenship by investment program, sourced from leading Caribbean and European jurisdiction. We offer all programs which are available in the market, and we do a tailor-made solutions for our clients. We have a dedicated multicultural team, and our headquarters is based in Dubai, UAE, with a branch office in Canada. Before we start our webinar today, I would like you to walk through the few webinar reminders. This webinar would be taking place for 35 to 40 minutes. And this event would be recorded, and we would be sharing the link with each one of you after the presentation. Do not share any of your personal information, such as email address or mobile number, in the chat box. And during the presentation, if you have any questions, please put it on the Q&A chat box, and we would be addressing them at the end of our presentation. So without any further ado, we would be starting today's topic, wherein we would be discussing about Grenada, the beautiful island, and how one can obtain a citizenship by either by donation or by investment. So as many of us may not know where this beautiful island is, Grenada is one of the Caribbean islands which offers you the citizenship by investment program, as same like Dominica or St. Kitts or Antigua and Barbuda. Grenada is a small island nation that is comprised of the island of Grenada and 6 smaller islands at the south end of Grenadians in the Caribbean Sea, south of Florida and northeast of Venezuela. Grenada is also known as the island of spice because of its largest production in mace and nutmeg, cloves, cinnamon, and cardamom. And it's a tourist destination. It's one of the top tourist destinations. It has a tropical weather throughout the year. Grenada got its independence in the year of 1974, and it's still a part of Commonwealth nation, same like the United Kingdom. And we have direct flights from Europe and USA to Grenada, so it's very much easily accessible. And the official language spoken in Grenada is English, and the population is around 112,000 so far. So as we have a brief idea about what Grenada is and where Grenada is located and what is this island is all about, I would like to pass it over to Carleen, who's the CEO of Citizenship by Investment unit of Grenada, so that she can explain us more why one should invest into Grenada citizenship, and how we can benefit from this. Carlin, over to you, please.
Hi, good morning, everyone. So actually, welcome everyone listening on this webinar at this moment. Basically, I just want to give you some of the benefits of investing in our program in Grenada. At the top of our list, I would like to say that citizens of Grenada do have access to the E2 visa, the US E2 visa, and that in itself provides you with an opportunity to open, if you were to get an E2 visa, you can open a business in the US. You and your family can, it's for a longer term type of, especially if you're looking at relocation for business purposes, this is the kind of, our passport would be the one that you'd want to have for that purpose. There are no taxes on worldwide income in Grenada. We have visa-free travel to over 143 countries, including the UK, Schengen region, and China, of course. There's no minimal stay requirement for our program. So some of the residency program, we know have that attached. Our program does not have a minimal stay requirement, as well as your immediate family and siblings and parents. So your siblings and your parents can also be a part of your application. Of course, there are fees attached to that, but they can be included on your application as well. Or processing times with the unit can go from 90 days to 120 days. The truth is, and sometimes beyond. And I'm saying this to say that once you submit a completed file, you will have better turnaround times. Non-disclosure tend to be where we have issues in terms of, so during the DD process, if you get information that requires us coming back to the client, but our processing times are pretty quick. And once you have all the information that's necessary for the application. You also have the ability to pass on your citizenship to future generations. So, so your persons who are applying now, if you're interested and you're applying now, you can pass those. Yes, you can pass it on to your children, can be a part of your application, and they in turn can pass it on to their children in the future. So it's something that can be passed on for generations. After 1 year of residency in Grenada, you can receive all the benefits that's extended to our Grenadian applicants at our world-renowned medical university, the St. George's University. As Grenadian citizens, there are quite a few benefits that students are privileged to. And after 1 year of residency in Grenada, you or your children will be can receive those same benefits. So those are some of the things that, make the Grenada program a little bit different from some of the others. As it regards to the E2 visa, I spoke about it before, just to go further into that, because I think it's one of the areas that continue to be of interest to many of the persons we have applying for our citizenship program. It's quick. So your E2 visa can be approved in approximately 2 months. Of course, this is after you would have received your citizenship with us, of course. It's convenient, so it's processed through the US consulate, and you can live freely in the US and invest in the US as well. Education in terms of your children can have in-state tuition on an E2 visa. There's also no global taxation there as well. Your work permit, the investor and their spouse can apply for work without limitation. So it gives you that access as well as there is great flexibility in the E2 in that the investor can manage the business in the US or overseas. So it's something you might want to consider if you're looking to start a business there. Thank you. I think that's it for me.
Thank you so much, Carlene. Now I will take our guests through the requirements on how to obtain this citizenship. This is a list, a summary basically of our required documents. So I'll just take you through that. So the main applicant will have to be 18 years old to apply. And of course, he will be able to include his family members, such as children, spouse, parents, and so on. The applicant must go through a medical screening. This is more of a general medical checkup, and we have to, make sure that there are no transmittable diseases. Of course, no criminal records, so a police clearance letter or certificate from the country that he has residency in and from the country that he was born in, he or she. Proof and source of the fund of the main applicant. Of course, they will be going through due diligence. A contribution to the National Transformation Fund or a purchase of real estate is one of the requirements as well to obtain this citizenship, which we will go through in a little bit. An applicant who has previously been denied for any other Caribbean country offering citizenship programs will not be able to apply. Meaning, if you have previously applied to, let's say, for example, St. Kitts and Nevis, and you got rejected from there, you will not be able to apply for the Grenadian citizenship. Also, an applicant who has previously been denied a visa to a country which Grenada has visa-free travel arrangements with, then also you will not be able to apply to Grenada. So what will happen in this case is that you will have to reapply to that country for the visa, get an acceptance, and then only you would be able to reapply. Now my colleague Sita will take you through the different investment options. Thank you.
Thank you, Sarah. As we heard about the benefits of Grenada citizenship, what are the requirements of the citizenship? Now let's talk about how you can obtain the Grenada citizenship. So there are basically two options to obtain it. One is the investment option through real estate, and the second one is the donation to the government of Grenada. So the donation in Grenada is called as National Transformation Fund, which means that you donate a certain amount of money, which is either $150,000 for a single applicant or $200,000 for a family up to 4 to government-sponsored projects in Grenada to enhance the economy of Grenada. And this is how one can obtain, either a single applicant or a family can obtain a Grenada citizenship through the donation option. And the second option is the real estate investment, which normally people are more interested in. The reason because the real estate investment is a pure property purchase, either in shares or into an individual property. And you can have an access like in a year for 7 days, you can go and stay in this property if you want. And plus the amount of investment is only $220,000 for an entire family, whether it's a family of 1 or it's family of 4, or let's say even if you have a bigger family, like family of 8 or 10, the amount of investment is the same. So my colleague, Mr. Richard, he would be taking you through the entire project details, the upcoming projects, the benefits of the projects, and what you can expect at the end of the 5th year. Richard?
Good morning, everybody. Good morning, Sita. Good morning, Sarah. Good morning, Colleen. Thank you very much for the introduction, and good morning to everybody watching, how far, to everybody in Nigeria. I'm here to introduce to you a approved developer of the Grenada Citizenship by Investment Program by the name of Aura Caribbean. Aura Caribbean are owned ultimately by the parent company, Aura Developers. Aura Developers is an African-owned company. An Egyptian gentleman by the name of Naguib Sawiris owns Aura Developers. We are an international development company. We have currently successful developments in Greece, in Cyprus, in Egypt, and in Pakistan. And Aura Caribbean is the Caribbean arm of the development company. Naguib Sawiris, as you may or may not know, is a very well-known, influential, affluent, philanthropic businessman. He's most well known for being the owner of Orascom, telecommunications company, and also Euronews, which is, I think, the largest or third largest cable news network. When you turn on your TV in most hotels, you'll find a Euronews channel. Mr. Sawiris came to Grenada about 5 years ago on the invitation of a friend, fell in love with the island, as most people do, saw the potential of the island and decided to invest quite heavily and assist the government in growing the hotel stock and the room keys on the island. So we have already developed, and the picture that you are currently looking at is our first property, which was a property approved under the Citizenship by Investment program called Silver Sands. Silver Sands is a beautiful hotel, as you can see from the picture. It also has some amazing villas that you see there on the beachfront and also on the hillside. It has just 43 rooms, and 8 villas, and was developed by Mr. Sawiris to the tune of about $120 million. We have a development plan in Grenada consisting of 500 hotel rooms. Our second program was launched last year and was very successful and actually sold out last year. Our intention really as a developer is to help Grenada with its expansion, with its growth of the tourism industry by adding additional room stock. Obviously, when you have more rooms, then you have more flights coming in, more flights, more tourists, there's more tourism spend on the island, and that's our ultimate goal. We are not a CBI developer per se, as in we are not looking to profiteer from the CBI program. We are a long-term hospitality developer, and our goal is to have 500 hotel rooms and the revenues that those 500 hotel rooms would create on the island. So our second property that was an approved property of the Grenada Citizenship by Investment program was Beach House by Silver Sands. If we could just move to that slide. I think it's the one after this. There we are. Beach House by Silver Sands is a boutique hotel property. We started construction in March of last year. We launched the program in April of last year, and it sold out in October. The construction is currently well underway, and we intend to open by Easter of 2023. So that'll be our second hotel on the island, opening in Easter of next year. It's a small boutique property. It just has around 40 rooms with a beautiful restaurant and spa. So when we sold out last year with that property, we then started working on our phase 3 development. And our phase 3 development is actually situated in the capital city of Grenada, St. George's. It is a maritime marina development. You see an actual picture of the marina there. The marina itself is owned by Camper & Nicholson. It is managed by them. It has 300 berths, and they can take boats up to 100 meters. ROC Caribbean own the land side development, and our intention is to create freehold residential properties and also to develop an entertainment hub consisting of restaurants, retail, commercial, and accommodation units, whereby investors can invest at the minimum investment amount of $220,000, or they can invest in a freehold piece of real estate from $350,000. Both of these options have to be held for 5 years as part of Grenada law. The 220 option gives you the ability to redeem the share to the developer and receive back 50% of your initial investment amount. The freehold investment at the end of the 5-year holding period allows you to either retain that investment or sell it as a piece of real estate. If you retain the investment, and from the point that the property is complete, you will be able to earn income generated from the revenues of that hotel. So that will be a revenue generating asset for you should you decide to keep it. The 220 option is a compulsory redemption. So at the end of the 5 years, you give that share back, you receive back your 110,000, and that does not affect your citizenship or your passport whatsoever. You then are a bona fide citizen of Grenada. We've been, what have we got next? Oh, there we are. Sorry, some more renderings. So the previous picture, you saw the actual photograph of the marina. These are the renderings, the architectural renderings that are planned. The construction is planned to take place on. You will see in the top left-hand corner the entertainment hub. There's a beautiful pool, restaurant, lots of retail and commercial. And then you will see on the top right and bottom right are the blocks, the 4 blocks of the condominium hotel. So these will be large studio apartments that will be rented out as condominiums for people to come and stay in long-term or short-term. It will be the only hotel complex in the marina and one of only a handful of hotel facilities in the capital of St. George's. I think the next slide shows some more architectural and commercial renderings you see there. The quality of these properties will be very similar to that of Silver Sands, 5-star in terms of its fixtures and furnishings. The settings you can see is beautiful on the marina, overlooking the 300 berths and the boats coming in and out in the capital city. So I think in summary, Aura Caribbean are a developer that has been in Grenada now for over 5 years. We already have one finished, completed and operational property at Silver Sands Hotel, and you can visit that online. You can actually come to Grenada and stay. We have a second project that was sold out last year under the CBI program that is currently under construction and will be opening next year. And then phase 3, which we're talking to you about today, is currently awaiting full approval from the CBI committee. We hope to launch it this year in the forthcoming months. And that is the project that you are currently able to put your name down and reserve a place to invest within Port Louis, and then give you the ability to provide to apply for Grenadian citizenship. I think I will stop there and leave the floor open to people who may want to ask more questions about Aura Caribbean or about Grenada. So thank you very much for listening, and thank you very much to our hosts, ROC Citizenship.
Thank you very much, Richard. If anybody has any questions, please feel free to leave your questions down below in the Q&A chat box, and then we will get back to the questions a little bit later of our session. So now I would like to take you through the timeline to get your citizenship. So if you decide, great, this is the citizenship I want, what we will first do is get your passport copy of you and your dependents, so your spouse and your children, and we will do a background check on you. The next step would be our engagement letter, and there is a professional fee to be paid of $5,250, which is non-refundable, and then we will start your document collection process. So we will be collecting all the documents that I have mentioned earlier, plus there might be a few more documents as well. This document collection phase will take approximately 6 to 8 weeks. Once the file is ready, then we will ask you for the second payment, which is approximately 25 to 30% of your total investment. Once you do that payment, we will ship your file, your ready file, to Grenada, to the government, and they will take care of it. Then we wait for approximately 90 to 120 days, as Carleen mentioned earlier, to receive the passport approval. After we receive the passport approval, you will have to do your final payment, which consists of your real estate investment balance. So if you decided to go with the real estate option, you pay the balance in the third payment. Or if you decided to go with a donation way, then you pay the balance of that at the third stage. And then we just wait for your passport to be, to arrive in our office. We will hand it over to you, or you can come You could come to our office, collect it, or we can even ship it to you if you are not in Dubai. Now I have a very important question to ask Caroline. So a lot of people ask us, what happens to our file once it reaches your office, basically?
So basically, when your file gets to our office, one of our agents would be assigned to it. And we like to have persons follow through all the way through, so they are intimate in terms of understanding what's going on with your file. So however it gets here, it's then sent off to two arms of due diligence that we get support with, international due diligence providers, as well as our local due diligence providers through our financial intelligence unit, and they feed into our regional body. So there's a regional body that supports our local team as well. So due diligence is done on both ends. Now that part of the process tends to be the longest part of the application process within the unit, and that can vary anywhere from 3 weeks to 6 months, and I am trying not to say the 6 months, but the 3 weeks, a month, 2 months, it's more the norm. 60 days more the norm. However, when we have files that are persons, applicants who would not have provided all the adequate information, all of the adequate information, all disclosed, total disclosure of companies and that sort of thing, when we go through the DD process and those things are discovered, then we would then be seeking out, explanations and affidavits would have to then be done and provided. And so that tend to take some time going back and forth. And generally, we find that that is where the time is spent. So I continue to admonish on persons, in submitting your applications to ensure that you have all of the information, all of the requisite information, the supporting documentation for what you would have presented on your forms, to ensure that the process is seamless and we get very quick turnarounds in terms of the DD part of the process. As I said, that's the longest part of the process. When it comes back from DD, your reports are actually assessed, and it is sent to our 7-team committee members from varying specialties, and they would review the DD report and the documentations that would have been presented, and that then goes off to our government, the cabinet, at the cabinet level, because this is clearly its passport, its citizenship, so it goes off to our cabinet. Generally, there's a 1-week turnaround there, and once we have the approval, we then issue an approval letter to your local agent, who would then communicate that to you. So that process, as I said, can take anywhere from, we've seen the better files turn around that entire process, DD, the initial compliance checks, the DD, get into cabinet and come back within 60 days, sometimes 45 days, 50 days. But then again, you have those that goes beyond that when we have to come back to the client to get additional information.
All right, thank you very much, Caroline, for sharing this information with us. Now I will hand over to Sita, who will take us through our question and answer session. Thank you.
Thank you, Caroline. Thank you, Sarah. So here we have some questions. One person is asking, like, they have not mentioned the name. They're saying, like, are there any income or capital gain taxes if you choose to live in Grenada? Caroline, if you can please answer this. Hello, Caroline, can you hear me?
Sorry, I didn't.
Okay, I'll repeat the question. Are there any income or capital gain taxes if you choose to live in Grenada?
I believe that there is. I can confirm. So I can always, you have everybody's email here. I can just confirm what the rate is, and then I can have that sent back to you.
Thank you, Carlin. This is again for you. Can we add our parent-in-law in the same application?
Can you add your?
Parent-in-law, my spouse's parents?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. And then there is a question from Ahmed. What is the maximum age for siblings to be added in the application, Carlin?
There isn't an age limit for the siblings. Once they are not married, they can be added. They can be added. So there isn't a maximum age, but they must be an adult. So there's a minimum age, of course, 18. But once they are a dependent, they can also be a dependent actually. So so an adult sibling, there isn't a maximum age on an adult sibling. Your non-adult sibling would have to be a dependent, one of your dependents.
Okay, thank you. Again, this one is for you. Can my Grenada citizenship passport can be revoked in the future?
In the law, yes, there is an element, regulation which speaks to that, but there are very specific, extreme reasons for revocation. And I think it's common worldwide to have your citizenship revoked, but it's very extreme situations, and persons have opportunities in the process as is outlined, you know, to query. They have an opportunity to basically make a case for not doing so. So it's a legal process that's a long one, and I can't say that I've seen or heard of any of those happening in the last 7 years or so when our program started. So
okay, perfect. And we hope, like in the future, also there wouldn't be any.
Yes, exactly, exactly.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Thank you. Okay, Richard, this one is for you. In your property investment, is there any returns on your investment, or can we sell it after? Can we keep this property lifetime?
So of the two investment options that we would be proposing, the first one is a shareholding in the development company. That has to be held for 5 years. There are no returns during that 5-year period, but at the end of the 5-year period, when you redeem that share back to the developer will return $110,000 back to you, which is 50% of your investment amount. During the time in which you hold that investment, you are eligible to come to Grenada to stay in any of the operational properties that we have, be it Silver Sands or Beach House, for 1 week, 7 nights per year, with no fees, and enjoy a holiday for the full 5 years. So you'd end up having 35 nights vacation in Grenada during your holding period. With regards to the freehold, if you decide to invest in a freehold property, once that property is built and operational, you will start to earn income from that property based on the actual earnings minus the costs. So whatever the revenue is, minus the actual operating costs, the profits will be split between the manager and the owner, and you would be able to earn income on that for as long as you hold the property. At the end of 5 years, if you wish to divest, you are able to, you can sell it. If you do not wish to divest and you want to retain the asset, you can keep it for as long as you wish and keep earning that income.
Thank you, Richard. The next question is like, do I need to travel to Grenada for renewal of my passport? I believe you don't have to travel, right?
My experience is you can renew your passport remotely through a lawyer in Grenada, or I don't know, a local embassy or consulate. I'm sure Colleen will correct me if that's not right, but in my experience, we have renewed passports of clients because obviously the program has now been running for over 5 years. remotely using a local lawyer who fills in the application forms, provides all the requisite information. There is obviously a small cost to pay, but it's a very simple, easy and quick process that should be turned around as long as the information is all correct and present within 10 to 14 working days.
Yes.
Okay. Thank
Yes,
you.
I concur.
Okay, perfect. And there's a question from Michael, like, once I get my citizenship, can my daughter go and study, like have the go and study in any of the Caribbean countries, like any of the Caribbean island, basically?
So that's dependent on what exists in terms of what arrangements there are, because, okay, so like a university camp or University of the West Indies have a campus has an arrangement with the different Caribbean islands. So different islands pay different rates. So whatever is the rate for that particular, for Grenada, that is what would be afforded to you. So it's a reduced rate. It is not an international rate. It's a very much reduced rate for our University of the West Indies, as well as for our St. George's University. That rate is also significantly lower for Grenadian citizens. So whatever is extended to Grenadian citizens would also be extended to your child.
Okay.
And maybe I can, if you would allow me, I can just jump in. I actually reached out to get, so I can update that question you asked about earlier.
Okay.
I can update that, right? So in terms of the taxes associated, so it's only the property transfer tax. So that's the only tax that's associated with capital. As it regards the capital gains per se, which includes property, there isn't a tax. There isn't a tax there. It's just the property transfer tax that's there for this type of investment.
Okay, perfect. Thank you so much, Carlin, to give this prompt response, like checking and coming back in the same time. Thank you so much for that. Carlin, this is a question again to you, like, can I sell my property to my brother who wants to apply for citizenship after 5 years?
Currently, I am not sure in terms of, Rick might have to take the first end of it. If there is a buyback option for the, if you must sell to your, to the developer, so where we have those situations, then no. But if there isn't any restrictions as to whether or not you must sell back to the developer you would have purchased from, you can. And for one time, that person that you can sell to one other applicant. So it doesn't so if he buys, if your brother purchases from you, he can't then sell to somebody else. It's just so you can sell to your brother, but it ends with him.
Okay.
Yeah?
So it's only like one resale I can do. Like
one resale.
I can sell it, but there cannot be a third owner per se.
Right, one resale.
Okay.
Yeah.
I hope that's clear, Michael, for you. And then there is one more question from a person, again, no name. As a citizen of Grenada, are you allowed to live in other organizations of Eastern Caribbean states indefinitely, or there are time limits?
Based on the arrangements, there is free movement of labor across the OECS, as a matter of fact, across the CARICOM. However, there are some requisite documents you'd have to have. There's it's called a skill certificate. So if you were to obtain a skill certificate from Grenada, being a citizen of Grenada, then it allows you to work and live there for an indefinite period of time with your skill certificate. Now, in the absence of that, I don't believe so. But based on the CARICOM agreement with free movement of labor, the skill certificate would allow you to be able to move freely.
Okay, perfect. With this, we come to the end of our webinar. There is like too many questions, but I cannot, because of the time constraint, I cannot ask all the questions. I'm really sorry, but surely we will be sending you an email with your questions. And because there are no names sometimes, and there are like the people who have said their name, we would be attending to your questions through email. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Sita and Caroline, for this wonderful Q&A session. All right, let me tell you about our upcoming webinars. We have a Dominica webinar coming up on Wednesday, 11th of May, where we are going to talk a little bit more about the citizenship by investment for Dominica. And also we have the Cyprus webinar, which is going Cyprus Permanent Residency webinar, which is going to be on Thursday, 12th of May. More information, of course, will be shared on our social media, on our different platforms as well.
Thank you everyone for joining and having your time with us today. Have a wonderful evening, day ahead. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you.